Today I'm going to read Mr. Strong by Roger Hargreaves. This is the story of Mr. Strong. Mr. Strong is the strongest person in the whole world. The strongest person that has ever been, and probably the strongest person there will ever be. He is so strong, he can not only bend an iron bar with his bare hands, he can tie it in knots. Mr. Strong is so strong that he can throw a cannonball as far as you or I can throw a tennis ball. Mr. Strong is so strong he can hammer a nail into a wall just by tapping them with his finger, strong by name and strong by nature. And would you like to know the secret of Mr. Strong's strength? Eggs. The more eggs Mr. Strong eats, the stronger he becomes. Stronger and stronger and stronger. Anyway, this story is about the funny things that happened to Mr. Strong one day. That morning he was having breakfast, and for breakfast he was having eggs. Followed by eggs, and to finish he was having, guess what? That's right, eggs. That was Mr. Strong's normal breakfast. Should we count how many eggs he's eating? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. After his breakfast, his eggy breakfast, Mr. Strong cleaned his teeth. And as usual, he squeezed all the toothpaste out of the tube. And as usual, he cleaned his teeth so hard, he broke his toothbrush. Mr. Strong gets through a lot of toothpaste and a lot of toothbrushes. After that, he decided to take a walk. He put on his hat and opened the front door of his house. Crash! What a beautiful day, he thought to himself, stepping outside his house. He shut the front door. Bang! The door fell off its hinges. Mr. Strong gets through a lot of front doors. Then Mr. Strong went for a walk. He walked through the woods. But he wasn't looking where he was going, and he walked slap bang into a huge tree. Crack! The huge tree trunk snapped, and the tree thundered to the floor. Whoops, said Mr. Strong. He walked into town. He walked, and again, not looking where he was going, he walked slap bang into a bus. Now, as you know, if you or I were to walk into a bus, we would get run over, wouldn't we? But not Mr. Strong. The bus stopped as if it had run into a brick wall. Whoops, said Mr. Strong. Eventually, Mr. Strong walked through town and out into the country to a farm. The farmer met him in the road looking very, very worried. What's the matter? Asked Mr. Strong. It's my cornfield, replied the farmer. It's on fire and I can't put it out. Mr. Strong looked over the hedge, and sure enough, the cornfield was blazing fiercely. Water, said Mr. Strong. We must get water to put out the fire. But I don't have enough water to put out a whole field, cried the worried farmer. And the nearest water is down at the river, and I don't have a pump. Then we'll have to find something to carry the water, replied Mr. Strong. Is that your barn? He asked the farmer, pointing to the barn in another field. Yes, I was going to put corn in it, said the farmer, but... Can I use it? Asked Mr. Strong. Yes, but... replied the perplexed farmer. Mr. Strong walked over to the barn, and then, do you know what he did? He picked it up. He actually picked up the barn. The farmer couldn't believe his eyes. Then Mr. Strong carried the barn over his head down to the river. Then he turned the barn upside down. Then he lowered it into the river so it could be filled with water. Then, and this shows how strong Mr. Strong is, he picked it up and carried it to the blazing cornfield. Mr. Strong emptied the upside down barn full of water over the flames. Sizzle, sizzle, splatter, splatter. 1 minute the flames were leaping in the air. The next minute they were all gone. "However can I thank you?" the farmer asked Mr. Strong. "Oh, it was nothing really," remarked Mr. Strong modestly. "But I must find a way to reward you," said the farmer. "Well," said Mr. Strong, "you're a farmer, so you must have chickens." "Yes, lots," said the farmer. "And chickens lay eggs," went on Mr. Strong, "and I rather like eggs." "Then you shall have as many eggs as you can carry," said the farmer, and took Mr. Strong over to the farmyard. Mr. Strong said goodbye to the farmer and thanked him for the eggs, and the farmer thanked him for helping. Then Mr. Strong, with one finger, picked up the eggs and went home. Mr. Strong put the eggs carefully down on the kitchen table and went to close the kitchen door. Crash! The door fell off its hinges. "Whoops!" said Mr. Strong as he sat down. Crunch! The chair fell to pieces. "Whoops!" said Mr. Strong. He started cooking his lunch, and for lunch he was starting with eggs, followed by an egg or two, and then eggs. And then for pudding he was having... Well, you can guess, and if you can, there's no need to turn the page over to find out what he's having. What do you think it could be? Ice cream. Ha ha. Thank you for listening. Bye.